You might be wondering how to be held accountable for weight loss. Well, I've got all your answers in this video. We're going to first go through what you need to know to be held accountable for weight loss. And next we'll go through tips and tricks I have for you to make this whole process easier. And last, we'll dive into the #1 best method for you to lose your weight. And does it include accountability? All right, so when I was told that we would be doing a video about this, because of course we do videos about the #1 biggest Googled phrase, and evidently this is one of the biggest Googled phrases, the first thing that went through my mind was how proud I am of you. I'm proud that you are taking this step. The fact that you stumbled upon this video, and I don't know how you stumbled upon it, but I'm glad you're here. Thanks for watching. But the fact that you're even seeking out answers to this question, that makes me happy. That tells me that you're wanting to make a change and you're wanting to make it stick. That tells me that perhaps in the past, when it came to weight loss, if you're like everybody else, you maybe weren't able to make it stick. Maybe you were trying to hit your goals and you weren't hitting your goals. You had good intentions, you might have had a good start, but you weren't able to follow through and you weren't able to finish. And so you perhaps recognized on your own that you have to be held accountable for weight loss in order for it to work. So kudos to you. I'm happy that you are here. I'm happy that you have figured out at least this part. Now let me give you the rest of the story. So what you need to understand is accountability is a huge component of weight loss. It's a major part of the weight loss journey, and it's a major key ingredient that so many programs are missing. I cut on a lot of different weight loss programs, and I cut on Weight Watchers, which always makes me laugh. I always feel nervous because behind the camera, one of our producers of this channel, she actually lost a lot of weight with Weight Watchers, and I always feel awkward when I gotta dog on Weight Watchers, and she's like, yeah, Cristy, it worked for me. I'm happy that it works for you. I will mention Weight Watchers because they do have something right. And for years and decades, Weight Watchers they've been having people meet in a location in person, and they all weigh in together. And they were one of the first companies to ever do that. In fact, they might have been the first company to ever implement that accountability factor. And Weight Watchers might do things that I don't agree with, and that's fine, but they do this thing very well. And that's what really launched this whole movement of people knowing, and weight loss experts like myself and companies and stuff, knowing that there needed to be that accountability component. Yet so many weight loss programs don't have it. They still have it missing from the program. I don't know why. Maybe like if I were to go down that rabbit hole and guess, I would say that perhaps, you know, they want you to, they want repeat customers. I mean, I don't know. They want repeat customers, so maybe they don't want you to reach your goal weight. That's pretty harsh. But you have to have that accountability component there. And Weight Watchers had it figured out. And they have it figured out. Even currently, they meet every week and you have to weigh in. And in order for you to continue on the program and perhaps become a lifetime member with Weight Watchers, you have to continue with this process. And I like that. I like that they are meeting with like-minded people. I like the support. I like the in-person aspect of this whole thing. So I did adopt that from Weight Watchers. I adopted the weekly accountability portion of my program from that whole concept that Weight Watchers pioneered. So fast forward to now, or 5 years ago, that Code Red's been doing what we do. And I have that weekly accountability component built into my program, except it's not in person, because we have thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of rebels from all over the world, and meeting in person for us is just not gonna work. And I'm glad other programs are able to do that. We're just not able to do that. But what we do is we do have you turn in your weight every week to my website using a password, and it does get put on a spreadsheet and it comes directly to me and I am able to see your weight. I will say on a side note, I'm looking for a scale that can weigh people and have it email their weight right to me. So that would even be even more honesty. But I haven't been able to find one yet that does that. Like some kind of an electric, something like that. In all my years of being in the weight loss industry, at 26 years I've been doing this, I have never, and we're talking at the time of this recording, over 46,000 people coming through my program. So I got some numbers here to prove this. I have never seen someone be able to lose weight without accountability. I mean, perhaps there are some outliers. I don't know. I've never met them. But really, with anything in our lives, you have to be held accountable. I mean, I'm a very driven person and I'm very self-motivated and I accomplish my goals. And even I have accountability built into with my business coaches. I have 3 business coaches and I know I'm going to meet with them every month. And I know when I meet with them, they're going to want to see all my numbers. They're going to want to see my P&L. They're going to want to see my balance sheet. They're going to want to see all of my numbers for sales, for revenue, for everything. And knowing that they're going to ask for those numbers is enough for me to make sure that I fill out my sheet, I'll compile all my numbers, and I have them ready to go. They want to see those numbers, but they do it so that I'll see those numbers. So even the most driven person still needs accountability. Having that person or factor or something that instills just a little bit of fear with a little bit of respect mixed in, that's enough for you to keep crap out of your mouth. That's enough for you to be able to, maybe make the right decision when you're teetering on making the wrong decision. Look, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you will be tempted to cheat. You will be triggered. You will have the opportunity. And our job is to hold your feet to the fire, but also teach you how to work your way out of that situation. And so having that fear factor, having that accountability set in place that it's just a bit scary, perhaps, in a good way. I'm not saying it's scary, but a little bit scary. It's enough to hold your feet to the fire and enough to keep you on track. Let me go through what doesn't work. And again, I'm speaking from experience, and you might be sitting there listening to this, be like, Cristy's wrong about this. All right, well, whatever, prove me wrong. But what doesn't work is an accountability buddy. I ain't never seen it work before. Maybe it depends on the buddy. But here's the problem. A lot of people, they choose their best friend, their mom, their sister, their spouse. Are you kidding me? Asking your husband to be your accountability partner? Your husband is not dumb. He is not going to say, oh, hey, Karen, you need to spit that out of your mouth. I mean, he doesn't want to pick a fight with you. He wants to keep peace in the house. I've never seen husbands work for accountability partners. And your sister, come on. Your sister loves you no matter what. If you call up your sister and you say, I tell you what, I'm wanting to go face down in a big bowl of popcorn wash it down with a bottle of wine. And your sister's going to be laughing and be like, I tell you what, let's do it. I'll meet you. We'll watch The Crown. That's not going to work. That doesn't work. I've never seen it work. So you have to have an accountability buddy that instills a little bit of fear into you. It can't be someone who's gonna let you off the hook. And so many times I've watched accountability buddies let you off the hook and you don't make any progress. And who wants that? When it comes to being held accountable for weight loss, you have to have a few things in place, okay? First thing you gotta have is you gotta have a strong why. We like to say you gotta have a why that makes you cry. I did a podcast on it once. You gotta take your why and you need to write it down. And I want you to get granular with your why. I want you to not just say, I wanna be skinny. Why do you wanna be skinny? I wanna get my health in order because I wanna watch my granddaughter graduate with her master's degree. Like, write it down. Bam, 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 like this. I want you to say, I want to lose 30 pounds so I feel good taking my grandchildren to the water park. I want to lose 60 pounds because I want to be able to climb the stairs to the pyramid because we're going to Egypt next. I mean, I'm making this up, but you know what I'm saying. You need to have a strong why. You need to be very detailed with your why because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you are going to want to give up. Remember that whole faith in the middle? Hey, look, everybody's motivated to lose weight after dinner on Sunday night. Ooh, I need to lose a little bit of weight. But then 2 o'clock on Monday rolls around, you start getting pretty hungry. It's really hard to stick with your plan. I mean, you will lose motivation. I'm telling you it's gonna happen. You gotta have a strong why in place to keep you on track. You take that why after you write it down old school, and you're gonna stick it on the refrigerator door, the bathroom mirror, or on the car dashboard, because those are the places where you're gonna be often. And you wanna remind yourself over and over and over, why are you doing this? Because I am sick of hiding behind my kids in family photos. I am sick of missing my son's soccer games because I'm too embarrassed to go walk in front of the other parents on the bleachers. I am wanting to have intimacy with my spouse again, and I'm too embarrassed to take off my clothes. Yeah, that's how granular I want you to get. I want you to be very particular about what you're going for. Write it down, stick it up somewhere where you're gonna be able to see it, and revisit it often. Other tips and tricks, I want you to clean out your cupboard. Why? Well, because you're probably a recovering sugar addict like I am. And a recovering drug addict doesn't keep drugs in their cupboard. We don't keep sugar in our house. That is one of the top 3 rules of long-term success with Code Red. We don't keep sugar in our houses. We don't put ourselves in that situation. Look, I used to have a peanut M&M addiction. Go ahead and laugh. I did. I ate an entire pound of peanut M&Ms every single night while I laid in bed and watched Netflix. This was back in 2005 to 2009 when I lived in New York City. I was lonely. I was sad. I had anxiety. I missed my family. And that's how I dealt with my problem, was eating copious amount, like this toxic level of sugar. It was terrible. I don't keep peanut M&Ms in my house. Even all these years later, 15 years later, I don't keep peanut M&Ms in my house. So by you cleaning out the cupboard, you will not have the box of Fruit Loops to go dip into every time you get upset about your taxes, or every time your mother-in-law and you have an argument. You're not gonna have anything to turn to soothe you. So we gotta clean out the cupboard. When putting an accountability system in place, you need to have some sort of a tracking system. I'm not talking about you need to be like a professional bodybuilder and keep a really detailed, thick food journal and journal of every kind of time you poop and every time that you take a supplement. No. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be as complicated as you want. But I've seen plenty of people be successful with their weight loss without a bodybuilder, super complicated food journal. Just some sort of tracking system. I know with the 10-pound takedown, part of what you get with your $47 registration is going to be a tracking sheet. That's a sheet that we use to track our water, our sleep, and our weight each day. It has 30 boxes on it. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 30. And every day we take a pen and we write down. You're gonna have to see what's going on with you each day. By you tracking those items, you're keeping them on the forefront of your mind. You're not burying them in the back of your mind, because that's what's happened to a lot of us. You know, I forgot to drink my water. Yeah, because it's not important enough to you. But a tracking system is gonna be sure that you are keeping those on the forefront of your mind and actually accomplishing them. And hey, stepping on the scale every morning and seeing that scale, hey, watching that scale go down is super motivating. But if that scale's not going down, there's something that you did wrong that day before. So knowing, hey, the water, the sleep, and the scale all work together and you see them all on one sheet of paper, it's really easy to figure out where you're going wrong. You need to have a strong reward system put in place. And no, not a food reward. We don't reward ourselves with food. Food is fuel. Food is not a punishment. Food is not a reward. Food is fuel. So at certain milestones in your weight loss, and I don't care what your milestones are, your milestone might be every 3 pounds. Your milestone might be 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. Your milestone might be even bigger than that. But whatever milestone, it doesn't even have to be pounds, by the way. It can be when I can zip up these jeans, I'm gonna reward myself with something. I don't care what it is. A pedicure, a massage. I don't care if it's a new outfit. I don't care if you raise horses and you've earned yourself a new piece of tack. I don't care what it is. It's gotta be something that's important to you. And I want you to actually follow through with it. A lot of my moms have this mummy martyr attitude and they feel bad for spending money on themselves. Oh, I'm taking from my kids. Let me tell you something, moms. You're gonna be a much better mom and a much better spouse if you take care of yourself and you reward yourself along the way with things that you accomplish. So many times we accomplish what we say we're gonna do, and then we we have the reward already. Okay, yeah, I told myself I'm gonna get a pedicure. And then you're like, I'll do it later. Like, never mind, it doesn't matter. And you don't follow through with it. Look, let me give you an example. I think it was February 2019, I had a big launch of a certain product. And before the product launched, I set a dollar amount in my mind that I wanted to reach for revenue after that launch. And I told myself, if you accomplish this goal, if you actually hit that number, you can buy yourself something. Well, I love jewelry. I'm not wearing it right now. In fact, it's in the other room. I should have grabbed it for this video. But I told myself that I was gonna buy myself a nice ring from a jewelry store that I had been admiring for a while. And let me tell you, the ring was not cheap. I mean, it was significant. For me, it was a significant purchase. Well, we launched and I exceeded my goal. And I had to force myself to go to that jewelry store and buy that ring because I hesitated. I was like, oh, what am I thinking? Man, this is a lot of money. I don't know. But I earned it. I set the thing that everything was in place. I did all the hard work. I hit my number and I forced myself to follow through with that reward. It sounds kind of silly when I say it out loud, but it's something that we just don't do. We don't follow through with our rewards, and you absolutely must do this. And the number one absolute best way to be held accountable for weight loss, you know what? Let me do it. Come to me for help. I've got a program that is set in place, that is tried and true and tested. That's what tried and true means. And I have a proven record of success. I have done all the legwork that you might be trying to do right now, Googling and like, where do I go? What do I do? I can prove to you that my program works. So you have two ways to go about this, okay? You ready? Number one, you can get a custom program. I have it linked up below. And a custom program is when you fill out the 33-question questionnaire and I customize a fully personalized program for you. It includes your calories, your protein, your carbs, all your macros, all your water, your meal timing, every single thing you need to know. I pick a goal weight for you and I even tell you exactly when you're gonna hit goal weight. It is 100% completely foolproof and out of your hands. All you have to do is reach out your hand and take my hand and say, Cristy, I trust you. I'm gonna have you write this program for me. And that way I know I'll be successful. And guys, we can get 10% of your body weight every month off of you with a custom program. It's $9.97. I've linked it up below. But if you're not quite ready to make that kind of an investment or take that plunge in that intensive a program, that's totally okay. Start with a 10-pound takedown challenge. I've linked that up below as well. And that's where you can lose at least 10 pounds in 30 days by following a very simple procedure. That's $47, and that's just a great way to get started. So either one of those are gonna work. 10% of your body weight every month versus 10 pounds. Whatever route you go, you need to take your life back, and this is gonna be the best way to do it. So click below, and I'll see you in the next video.